All right, you guys ready to do this?
Let's go.
All right. Hello and welcome to the Movie Marathon Podcast, a place where we watch movies and then we talk about it. We are not experts. Sometimes we're not even fans. Consider us just friends in a conversation. And we're just talking about movies and you're here for the ride. So my name is Gabe. I am your host today. And I'm here with my fellow fighters, Andrew and Eric. And we are here to discuss 1995's Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
A masterpiece? Maybe. A flawless victory, perhaps?
Definitely.
But before we get there, let's introduce ourselves. Let's talk a little bit about our first memories with the game, the franchise, and everything in between. So, Dixon, who are you, and have you played Mortal Kombat before?
Johnny Cage. I definitely played Mortal Kombat as a kid. Not as much as I'm sure you guys and a lot of other people that I know. But yeah, I definitely played it as a kid. Wasn't like a staple game for me, but something that I definitely grew up with. It was probably one of the first video games that I played. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about this.
And what about the film? Had you seen 1995 version?
I had seen it once, maybe twice as a kid, and haven't watched it since. So this was kind of like not the first time, but with a fresh set of eyes for sure. So I was kind of taking it all in for the first time, basically. So it was an interesting watch. I have a lot of different takes on it.
Eric, what about you?
I have a lot to say about this movie. And Gabe,
I'm so
I know
happy.
we're probably on the same page. And I'm also super excited to hear about Dixon's take, because we were just talking about this before you jumped on. I don't think I met another person at age 35 who has never seen Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Like after the age of 10 years old. Like if you missed it before then, there's no reason to watch that movie. But I guess to answer your
100%.
question, this is probably the biggest nostalgia movie of my life. It probably was like the first time I ever had an adrenaline rush at age 6 with like the techno music and fighting. I remember being into the games, but like the Sega Genesis game, like Mortal Kombat 2, but not nearly as much as this movie. This is going to be a fun one for me.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I grew up surrounded by Mortal Kombat probably because of this movie. I feel like I got into the games either around the same time or after it, but I never played the arcade game before. I played the video game before the arcade game, and I think that was pretty much all built upon the foundation of this movie. And I have to get into this later, but it's almost very soapy, and there's a lot of lore, and that kind of plays into fandom today. And it's interesting because it hits a lot of notes of like franchises that I want to talk about, and this is kind of like a prelude of what's to come in terms of how movies and franchises develop.
A taste of things to come.
A taste of things to come. Okay. But yes, I really like this movie, even though it's probably a huge piece of shit. Annihilation, even a bigger piece of shit, which I actually think I might even have more memories of. Maybe I like had that one, but I love both of them in their own way. So I think before we get into the movie, we need to hop in a portal, go to Outworld, and get over here into production history. Get over here!
Beautiful.
Okay, so before we dive into the movie itself, we like to do a little thing here on the Movie Marathon Podcast, where we talk about how the film came to be. And the story behind Mortal Kombat is actually pretty interesting. Sometimes there's not much to talk about here, but we have a nice little differentiation of good stories. So let's talk a little bit about the game. The original Mortal Kombat arcade game came out in 1992, so we were all 2 years old. But it was a cultural moment, apparently. The graphics, the fatalities, the blood had never been done before. Now it's, everywhere in terms of gaming. But back then, this actually led to the creation of the gaming rating system. So it was originally a huge, huge success. And it actually is funny because I don't know if either of you guys have thought about this. It came up when I was researching like the ninjas and why they're called ninjas, because Mortal Kombat almost seemed Chinese to me. Do you guys know if it's Chinese, if it's Japanese, where it lands?
It's international, right? There's a bunch of different characters that have. What do you mean by that question?
Like
Is
the
it
origins?
yes? Is essentially is like, are the characters, is the tournament meant to be a Chinese or a Japanese?
I took it as many cultures.
Because ninjas are Japanese.
Ninjas are Japanese, but I think isn't Liu Kang Chinese?
He's
a Shaolin monk, right?
Yeah. You kind of have the answer, Eric. It's essentially meant to be a mashup.
Yeah.
The creators are Americans, and they pretty much cited just an entire mythology that varied between multiple genres and multiple influences to create the game. So Chinese influences are the core, like you said, Liu Kang. Most of the characters are Chinese, and then Japanese influences come in, especially with Scorpion. He's Japanese, and the entire ninja aesthetic in the game is Japanese. And then the movie actually mixed in a little bit more because it films in Thailand and then also in Chinese temples, and then decided to cast a French Swiss guy as a Japanese thunder god. So it has a nice variation of all of that. But back to the original story of the film. So the producer Lawrence Kasanoff visited Midway, the creators of the game, while Mortal Kombat 2 was still in playtest, played the game before it even came out on consoles, loved it, and Midway essentially told him it's never going to work. So just, I feel like out of pride, Kasanoff negotiated a deal over months and eventually got the rights to the game. And at this point, video game films were essentially a disaster. Super Mario Brothers came out in 1993, and Street Fighter was in production. I've never seen Street Fighter. Have you guys seen it?
No.
No.
That's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah. Which I'm going to get to about him too. He's in here.
Oh, he's supposed to be Johnny Cage. I don't want to spoil it. Okay.
Yeah. We're going to get to that in like 2 minutes.
I again haven't read your notes yet, so I'm just kind of going off the cuff here. So I
figured
apologize
you knew,
if I'm stealing your thunder.
So, have you guys seen Super Mario Brothers? 1993.
I don't think so.
Of course.
Of course. Same here. Are we going to have to cover this, Dixon, on the podcast here?
I mean, with the Mario universe now, maybe, yeah.
I mean, the new one's supposed to be awful.
I'm hearing mixed things. Like people saying it's so fun though.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of the game, I'm sure it is. It's just like all references, stuff like that. The first one was all needle drops. It's I know they have the joke like 35-year-old men talking about the Mario movie, but it could be good. It doesn't have to be like a piece of shit and still be good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The first one was, I thought, pretty decent.
It's okay.
Yeah, but like, what did you expect exactly?
Yeah, that's the exact argument. Anyway, we're talking about Mortal Kombat. So they approached several top directors, but landed on Paul Anderson.
Who just won
one
his Oscar.
battle. I was going to make that same joke.
Sorry.
No, this is his evil twin, Paul W.S. Anderson. So,
I was going to say, there is no way it's the same director. No goddamn way.
when there's a will, there's a way, man. It could have been Hollywood. So this is Paul W.S. Anderson. He had his debut film called Shopping. I'm sure none of us have ever seen it, but he became well known for Event Horizon, these are all after Mortal Kombat. But Event Horizon,
by the way, I would love to do Event Horizon on this podcast.
I've never seen it.
Neither have I,
Same.
and it's getting like a resurgence.
Yeah,
that's again. Like
no. That's I wasn't going to say that, but in my like research, that did come up that Event Horizon is now like a cult classic.
Yeah, definitely.
In the same way that this kind of is like now seen more as like a cult classic. Like it got kind of shredded in like the original reviews.
Mm-hmm.
It has like a 43% on Rotten Tomatoes, but now revisionists look back. People will like it a little bit more, maybe because of nostalgia, like you and me, Eric. But yeah, Event Horizon is more beloved now. I'd love to do that. And then Paul W.S. Anderson also is more well known for the Resident Evil series, which I've never really seen, but I don't really like. Have you guys seen those?
I think I saw the first one a very long time ago, but yeah, never really got into them either.
Well, he got to start here, really. And he wasn't really a visual effects guy. He said he kind of bluffed his way in. And did the effects look like a man who bluffed his way in?
Dixon, you go first.
I think that there were. I do actually think that there were some scenes where it was. I want to say blurred very well, where you couldn't really tell. Like they were kind of hidden, some of the CGI, but then some of it was just really, really bad. The scorpion, like the scorpion was so. Every time it came on, I was like, oh, it's like it took me out of it every time I saw that.
What scorpion?
The actual, like the camouflage scorpion that kept coming in and out. Reptile. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Save it in post. Reptile.
No, I mean, it says something if you really can't even tell the difference between some of the characters, you know? Well, Scorpion and Sub-Zero really don't have characters in this one, but
yeah,
we'll get there.
That creature is very bad, but I do remember being 5 years old and thinking I knew what the fuck I was talking about, being like, wow, this CGI is actually really good. Thinking like Sub-Zero, like his like ice powers and the lightning, and even Scorpion's alien thing that comes out of his hand, which is just not canon with the rest of the video games. I remember thinking, wow, this is actually believable. Clearly, obviously, that is not the case anymore. But I think for 1995, especially for someone who's, you said, gay bluffed their way through it, not bad.
For me, it's a mix. A lot of it looks pretty good, except when they try to do just really crazy shit. When they try to go absurdist, it looks like PS1 graphics, which I guess is, in some ways, it's the best they could do in 95, and in some ways it's not, because there are better representations, but some of the sets are like beautiful. Some of the
So
the
well
shots are amazing.
Yeah.
I'm watching this, and you can contrast like a cutaway scene of like a dragon or whatever, some of the stuff you talked about, Dixon, and then they cut and it's just like boats in the distance with like the sunset, and I was like, what am I watching here? Like Tears of the Sun. So it's kind of an interesting movie, even though it's not really a great movie. I was curious because if this came out more or less the same, let's say in like this was our 2021 Mortal Kombat, and the graphics are updated, they look good, but essentially plot and everything else is virtually the same. Is the movie better or is it worse?
I still think that there are some things that they could clean up about the story and the plot. But the graphics would definitely help. It definitely make it more of an enjoyable movie. Definitely something I would go see in theaters a few times.
Dude, the story
just like
is
an
tight.
action.
Come on. It's perfect.
It is.
There are some scenes where some stuff doesn't make sense and they go back and forth, and I mean,
I'm so unbelievably biased. I can't even like answer that question without smiling. But like, there are a lot of ridiculous characters in Mortal Kombat, and from what they did with this movie, it's pretty grounded, all things considered.
It is.
Shang Tsung, Kano, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Sonya. Like, it's like, wait, whoa, what do you... There's some sort of relationship between all of them. They do a quick backstory, about 2 minutes per character, before they all kind of come together. And you're not confused. You're with it, you know? And it introduces... You're seeing each character being introduced to this tournament. And it has you for a solid hour.
But there's also like, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. You go, Dixon. You go.
I was going to say there's also just scenes where they did stuff and then they just move on to the next scene without any explanation. Can I get into it a little bit? Can I talk about one of the scenes?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So the scene where Liu and Katana fight, and she's just like, you have to use your soul, and then it literally just like they fight. And then they just move on to the next scene with no explanation.
So
and then he goes and he fights Sub-Zero, and it's like, what just happened? Like, where? How did we transition there?
So that's why I said the first hour they have you like it's good, because literally that's exactly what I thought of too, Dixon. It's like once you get through that hour, and it's like, okay, the tournament starts. It's just like Johnny Cage is walking in the middle of the fucking woods
After NetherRealm,
For
after
no
the
reason.
NetherRealm stuff.
Yes, and then like Liu Kang's fighting Katana on the beach, and then also Liu Kang is now fighting Sub-Zero. It's just like, okay, they abandoned the plot. It's like, we got to wrap this up, and like it doesn't seem like they have any direction as to like how they get into one fight to the next. But
Well, so that's what I'm saying. You clean up
Yeah.
scenes like that in a 2021 version of this movie with better graphics, and it's a much better movie for sure.
yeah,
That's what I was thinking too, because there is, like I said earlier, the lore is deep, and they were only working on like a video game and a half. So everything is really built upon this movie. And I feel like it really popularized it in a new way. And I think a lot of that also is part of the cast. And there was some crazy casting what ifs. So let's go in just traditional order. Liu Kang is played by Robin Shu. He was a wushu champion turned Hong Kong stuntman. And he actually turned down the role originally because he thought it was just going to be like a stereotypical Asian villain of the time. And then when he learned that he was the hero, he reconsidered. And they also auditioned a bunch of other popular, similar kind of style guys at the time: Jason Lee Scott, Russell Wong, Keith Cook, who ended up playing Reptile. But what did you guys think of Robin Shu's performance as Liu Kang?
I mean, besides his '90s haircut, I thought he was fine.
Yeah.
The bangs kill me. I can't.
It was definitely exactly what I thought I remembered, but was expecting from that role. Like a little overemphasized on some of the moves. Like it was like, yeah, like the screams. Like, so yeah, it was exactly what I thought I was gonna get from.
I think
that
that's an homage
role.
to Liu Kang in the video game, though, because he was very annoying and vocal, and I think that they had to keep that true to the
That makes
character.
sense.
Was he kind of meant to be the hero in the first game?
I think so. But again, to your point though, Gabe, I think this movie kind of solidified each character's role.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I actually have never really liked his performance. I've never felt it to be very strong. He's playing it in the way that he doesn't really want to take on the hero role, but he's the chosen one. But either way, I never really understood why Liu Kang is the chosen one, especially when you have all these other people with powers, I guess because he doesn't have the powers. It's like a Captain America effect. But either way, he's fine.
Did they bring up the chosen one thing at all in the beginning of the movie?
No,
It just comes up at the very, very end, right?
the very end. Yeah,
Cutting room
Because I was
floor,
like,
yeah.
where had they ever talked about that?
No, they
It
didn't.
wasn't like when he was talking to who's the guy with the white hair?
Well,
Right
there
on.
is a
Right.
moment.
Right.
Sorry, there is a moment when I believe Shang Tsung is talking to Kano, and they mention that he's the descendant of Kung Lao and that he can't link up with Katana.
Oh, you're right.
He does. There is a scene there, but they don't outwardly say. They allude to it. So maybe we give them credit on that one. They allude to it.
I mean, all you have to do in that situation is have somebody in the crowd or one of the other main characters is gonna be like, oh, does that mean he's the chosen one? Like that's all you have to include, and then it makes sense at the end when they're talking about it.
Right.
That's
I
all you
still
need.
don't understand why he has a green bedroom.
That I
You know,
I-
I
green light.
literally have a note, and we could talk about it. But the green bedroom, it looks like he's in the Matrix.
yeah, it's a very '90s movie. Like the stylism is there.
It's the what is it? Dutch angle. It's
Oh,
like
I didn't realize
sideways,
that.
like
Yeah, yeah. The green room always, and then then he walks over to the telegram.
it's
Like,
unsettling.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love that telegram. It's
Brother,
just-
was it like brother dead? Come
I wrote it
home
down.
or something?
Brother dead, return home. That's it.
It's essentially like a boomer text you would get now. Like
You know what's
Okay.
funny? I first discovered these movies like with my cousins out in Utah, and like again, like we were obsessed with it. We were like fighting all like the whole time. Like I'm Reptile, like you're Liu Kang, and like we all did,
yeah,
except for Dixon. But I remember like when I first saw the movie, I didn't know how to read. At least I don't think I could like see words on the on like the screen and be like, oh, it says this. And I remember my cousin being like, "It says brother dead, return home." And I remember thinking, "This kid's full of shit. He can't read. There's no way.
my God.
There's no way that's what it says."
Brother dead, return home.
Like, that's not what it says.
All right, so Sonya Blade. Do you know who they originally cast her as? Or who was cast as Sonya Blade originally?
No.
Cameron Diaz. And she actually, well, I don't know if this is true or false, that she just tried to get
New
out.
Line Cinema.
She allegedly broke her wrist before filming started and had to drop out. So they shot for the moon, and they were also considering Sharon Stone, Christina Applegate, and then they eventually landed on Bridget Wilson. Do you guys know what she's from? I didn't realize that she was this character until I watched this movie.
Is that not?
Until I was researching it.
It's Vicky Valancourt.
No, isn't it? Isn't it?
Veronica Vaughn, I meant.
Yeah. Sandler.
I didn't realize
baby.
it was her. Yeah, I didn't. But yeah, it plays into our Sandlerverse. So she left the set of Billy Madison on her last day and flew directly to the Mortal Kombat set when the role reopened. So
Amazing.
essentially went right from Billy Madison to Mortal Kombat. And she had to do all her fight training on set. I didn't realize this was her. What do you guys think of her performance as Sonya Blade?
To Eric's point a little bit about Liu Kang and his like over accentuated like yells and screams, I think she had a lot of those too. Like a lot of her, she was like emoting a lot more aggressively than it seemed necessary. But yeah, I clocked her. I clocked Veronica Vaughn as soon as she was on screen.
Veronica Vaughn.
Is that Veronica Vaughn? But yeah, I think she was good. Again, nothing over the top, but
Oscar worthy.
Yeah, exactly.
One battle. I don't think that character had a whole lot of depth. So yeah, I think she did fine.
It's true.
A brooding cop who's seeking revenge, right? That's pretty much it.
Where's Kano?
Yeah.
All right, so Johnny Cage, fan favorite. Everyone loves Johnny Cage. We alluded to this detail before. The original Mortal Kombat was designed around Jean-Claude Van Damme, and the plan was originally to license his likeness for the lead character, who became Johnny Cage. But when that was too expensive, Johnny Cage became Johnny Cage. So they offered Van Damme the part, and he turned it down to do Street Fighter, which is also just diabolically insane. And it also shot in Thailand at the same time as the movie, and they were released around the same time. So Brandon Lee was rumored at a point to have been cast as Johnny Cage at the time, but Anderson actually confirmed that this never happened. It was all just a lie. But Tom Cruise and Johnny Depp were considered for the part.
They shot for the fucking moon. Are you kidding me with some of these roles?
Could you? Yeah. It gets slightly crazier with the next one. After 7 auditions, Lyndon Ashby beat out Tom Cruise and Johnny Depp for the part of Johnny Cage.
I'm sorry. He beat them out?
Yeah. How did that happen?
No. I like doing a little disinformation.
Okay.
Just a little.
But Lyndon Ashby did get the part after 7 auditions. Those other guys were considered. Who else was considered and actually offered a part of Raiden was Sean Connery. Offered the part.
But there's also the movie Highlander, right? Isn't he starring alongside with Lambert?
He passed on the role because he didn't want to be in a physically demanding role.
But I'm saying Sean Connery is in Highlander as well as Lambert. What's the guy's first name? The actor who plays
Christopher
Raiden?
Lambert. Yeah,
Christopher Lambert. Who then?
I've never seen Highlander.
So they're both in Highlander, and Christopher Lambert ended up getting the role of Raiden. That's just a funny.
Yeah, it's strange that they're both in it. When did Highlander come out? Around the same time, probably, right?
I just found out they're redoing it.
That looks pretty good. That trailer looked good.
Well, Danny Glover was also considered for the part of Raiden.
That's interesting.
That would have been interesting, yeah.
I would love to see a what if of this, their dream cast of this movie. That would be a great, like, just even some like clips of them.
Could you imagine Sharon Stone, Tom Cruise, Sean Connery, same Liu Kang, Robin Shou, leading it all?
Jean-Claude
Just
Van Damme.
he stays the same. Everybody else is their crazy actors that they wanted for the roles.
So the only character that I think is the like end all be all is Shang Tsung, and that's Carrie, and he was the filmmaker's first and only choice. And he showed up for the audition in full costume, and he read his lines, emoting, standing in the chair, and he got the role.
He fucking crushed it.
Crushed it.
He's great in this.
And he became synonymous with the role. They actually adopted a lot of his signatures and lines and built, like we were saying, the character of Shang Tsung is really built around him. And yeah, he kind of in some ways does make the movie. Like he and Johnny Cage, Lyndon Ashby really put in probably the best performances. I really would love to see the all-star version, like we were just saying, of all these A-listers. But they for only having 1.5 games really to go off of, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, Raiden, Kano, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Shang Tsung, Goro, and Reptile are all originally from the 1992 game. Kitana and Shao Kahn, who we'll get to later, were introduced in Mortal Kombat 2, and they kind of were brought into the film. There's only one character in the movie that's semi-significant that doesn't exist in the game at all. Do you know who it is?
Give me a second.
I'm not gonna know.
Semi-significant in the movie who's not in
barely significant, but he is a person in the movie.
Is it the guy who Goro killed?
Yes. Art Lean.
Art. Who I think he's an actual like fighter, MMA fighter, right? Did you look him up?
I didn't really look into the casting of him. I just wanted to talk about that. Yeah, it's Art Lean, and later he's obviously Johnny's motivation for the Goro fight, but he's the only one that they made for the movie. Jax was supposed to be in this, but the actor Steve James, I'm not familiar with him, but he passed away before production. And then Michael J. White, interestingly enough, was going to replace him, but dropped out to do a Tyson biopic, and so Jax never made it.
Wait, Jax was in the movie?
No, he's in 2.
Jax is in 1 as well. Is
When?
he not Sonya's partner in the beginning when she goes and like gets Kano?
No, that's an unrelated person.
Oh, I think I always just thought Jax. That was Jax.
I think I did too, but
because they also changed half of these actors in Annihilation, so like it doesn't matter.
I think she has a line that alludes to it not being Jax, or like it's the pre-Jax partner, but that's who it's supposed to be according to my research for the movies. That it's not Jax. So Jax isn't actually in the movie. He was rolled in. Maybe it's implied, maybe to be Jax, or they hope you implied to be Jax, but it's not him.
Okay.
So production and music parts, just a couple of things worth flagging here. Goro, fully animatronic. I think he looks fucking great. He cost $1 million at the time to make, operated by 16 puppeteers, and the person inside could only operate it for 2 minutes at a time before running out of oxygen. So they constantly had to break it down on set, and they had to shoot.
It cost $1 million?
That's insane.
Okay, he doesn't look that good. And I agree with you.
Great.
I thought he looked great too until you told me it cost $1 million.
A lot for 95, yeah.
That's a lot for now for that.
Yeah, dude.
Well, that's why his screen time is so much shorter, and he's only either in, certain types of shots or short shots because they constantly had to do 2-minute takes with Goro.
I think,
unbelievable.
First of all, like $1 million is ridiculous, but like I agree with you. I think he looks pretty good, all things considered. And he's talking, they're moving his jaw, and like I looked up the actor who voiced him. Did you have him in your notes?
Not specifically, no.
So this guy, I want to draw a blank. I think his name, I think it's Kevin Richardson. He's in over 600 different movies, like voice acting movies. And it's every franchise you can possibly think of. He's got to play at least 50 Star Wars characters, like in video games.
It's insane.
And just, like side
Insane.
characters and stuff. Yeah. Because I was listening to his voice and I was like, this sounds so familiar. At first, I thought he was Goldar from Power Rangers. He's not. So it's like the only other role that he's not.
It actually does sound a little bit like Goldar. That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, ready? Most recently, the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
You still working?
Yeah.
I think he has 611.
611
Oh
on
my
IMDb.
God.
Yeah.
Super Mario movie, Invincible, Family Guy. He's Jerome on Family Guy. He's in The Simpsons. Phineas and Ferb.
It's everything. It's everything you could possibly think.
Lego Star Wars, Futurama. Yeah. SpongeBob.
Wow.
A lot of stuff. Yeah, it just keeps going. A lot of animated stuff, but yeah. Crazy.
Well, since we're talking Goro, just to talk about the fights very quickly. The main coordinator was Pat E. Johnson. He did Enter the Dragon, The Karate Kid, and Robin Chu, who played Liu Kang, also served as the additional fight choreographer and introduced wire work into the production. It was one of the first Hollywood movies to actually use wire work in a film. And Chu actually fractured 2 ribs during his fight with Reptile, but nobody knew except his co-star, Keith Cook, who didn't hit him on the right side. And when they finished the scene, he went to the hospital. So pretty intense for this movie, but not as intense as the score. Composed by George S. Clinton, using what he called a techno, taiko, orco approach. No high-pitched instruments at all. 18 violas, cellos, basses, low brass, and taiko drums, and a Tuvan throat singer. And the iconic theme, Techno Syndrome by the Immortals, was written for the film and obviously became an instant classic. When the movie starts, I almost get like a chill, like it's crazy.
Dude, I get the chill when I see the New Line Cinema logo.
Yeah,
it
gets you so jacked up.
When they play that last note on the New Line Cinema logo, I'm like, someone's gonna scream Mortal Kombat right now.
It's so good. I've heard it in clubs. It doesn't go away. The soundtrack went platinum and hit number 10 on the Billboard 200.
First album I ever bought.
That is
really
was the Mortal Kombat soundtrack, and I fucking listened to it every
it's so good
chance I got. And like, also, when was it like? Did we even hear techno before that? Was techno a thing?
It was just budding, honestly. It was like
all
it was early
over
in its
the
days.
movie.
Yeah, it's early in its days.
It's
like
either
that's
like death metal, European Serbian techno, or like Gregorian monk chanting. Is the whole
it was
soundtrack
not a thing at the time. Yeah, it was crazy.
But that's when that
Crazy.
kind of music was really starting to like make its waves. Like it was
Ahead of its
obviously
time.
it was big in Europe, but like this was the first thing. I'm sure there were a lot of people in the US and other countries outside of Europe that were hearing that for the first time. Or like, what the hell is this? Like, it's incredible.
It just works so well with
Yeah.
with the fighting and the choreography. It was like
amps
the
you up.
first time I had like an adrenaline kick
Mm-hmm.
at age 6.
Yeah,
Your body's
love the
shaking. You
soundtrack.
have no idea what's going on.
Listening to techno and fighting with my cousins. Like, that was it.
I wanted to open the episode with the theme, but we'd get sued, or we won't make our 11 cents on bad monetization. So we need that. Thanks, viewers. So we all love the iconic theme. Is there anything else you guys want to get into in terms of production history or how this movie was made?
I do want to call out the set designs. I mean, we did already, but like,
Yeah.
I can't get over how well done they are. Some of it's cheesy, like when they're on the boat and like the mist over the water.
It's so bad. There's not an inch of water on that set. When I was a kid, I don't think I understood they were on a boat.
I was just gonna say that. I don't think I knew they were on a boat.
Yeah, I always just thought it was like this rickety place or something. Like, it never made sense to me. And then I was watching this, and it's literally in my notes. I'm kind of like, oh, they're on a boat.
Yeah,
Like, it kind of clicked for the first time.
because the smoke on the ocean when you take a boat from LA to Thailand,
yeah, it's
the Pacific
it's
Ocean.
so absurd, and you only see like the front of the boat, and then they're down at one point when they meet like Sub-Zero and Scorpion,
Yes,
and there's a ton of space. They're in like a cavernous part of it.
and the chains hanging down. So like the effects aside, or like, all right, they didn't do a great job telling us that they're on the water, but still, like under like the hull of the boat. I don't know what that's like underneath the boat. That looks sick.
Oh,
The hull, uh, like Scorpion's hell. That looks sick. Like they did
yeah,
such a
yeah,
good
yeah,
job.
yeah, yeah.
Even like the temple, like when they were fighting and Sub-Zero like froze that one like henchman worker.
I love that.
All that shit looked so convincing. They put money into it and you could tell.
It's so interesting because it was definitely a 90s vibe, but it also kind of had like that 80s dark fantasy edge to it too, with the candles and the way there was like backlight, like somebody would be standing up on the top and there'd be that like kind of backlighting behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought there was this scene where they're following somebody through like a hallway, and I remember just looking at it and being like, this is so well done. And obviously I think there was probably they had to break it up between how much CGI they were going to use and how much on set or real shots that they were going to have. But all of the set designs were, I think they did an incredible job with it.
Yeah. Had no business being in this movie with some of the other stuff. And it makes it better.
I think I could be completely making this up, and if I am, just cut this shit out. But we
already said last week we're like the disinformation podcast. I admitted to being wrong about like Jaws and Moonraker, so just go for it.
I might have read this on Reddit or something, but I think Spielberg was like considering being in the movie as that director.
Who else can we get in this movie? Like what other big name director actors can we just?
They approached him to direct, and he was like, "They're like, well, what about a cameo instead? You direct Johnny Cage's movie."
I think I read that he was like open to it because he liked the games, but it was just like, but couldn't do it because maybe he was filming fucking Jurassic Park or something. I don't know.
Yeah, a little busy at the time. Yeah, Schindler's List and JP.
Yeah. We gotta fact check me on that.
No, we don't do that here.
No. We just roll with it. All right. It's true, guys. It's true. All right. So let's get into the movie itself because the tournament has begun. Okay. As we said before, the movie opens with Liu Kang. Just before that, his brother Chan is killed by Shang Tsung in a previous tournament, and his soul is taken in the famous iconic line, "Your brother's soul is mine." The image of the villain, the handout, and Liu Kang wakes up, green room, Matrix style, very strange, but it kind of sets the stage of a very 90s kind of vibe. And then we get, as we were saying before, our kind of amalgamation of introductory scenes. Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, they'll kind of come in separately, have their own mini expo dumps about the character and the plot to kind of get you just where you need to be, just to get on board with like this insane story. Because it does have a lot of, it in most ways plays it serious, but it has a lot of heavy lifting to do. And just to build up the tournament and these absurd characters, you have like Goro and all these people, it's kind of insane. But so Liu Kang is like your straight man, your chosen one, Harry Potter style. Johnny Cage is comic relief and like fan favorite. And then Sonya Blade, like we said, does the best she can. But yeah, she's searching for Kano, and that is kind of her part. Kano murdered her partner before Jax is the story essentially, but that's all we kind of get out of that. And so a lot of the dialogue was ad-libbed at the director's encouragement. So, Mr. Dixon, you're wearing $500 sunglasses, asshole. That was an ad-lib line that the actor for Johnny Cage did himself. So, who's your favorite lead here? We kind of talked about them already, but do you guys have a fan favorite? I kind of already said mine.
I mean,
or not, or of anyone else, because in the casting, I didn't really get into Sub-Zero and Scorpion. They didn't really have characters. The ninjas, they're just more there to look cool. I think they look pretty fucking sick. They got me excited, but yeah, who is your favorite character?
I think the three of them did a pretty good job. They had shockingly decent chemistry with one another. Like again, shockingly. I mean, probably Johnny Cage is my favorite of those three.
The
But
chemistry.
I didn't give a shit about them. It was Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Reptile.
Yeah, the ninjas is what sucked me in. Now rewatching it, I kind of like at the end how Liu Kang and Johnny Cage kind of team up. It's kind of like a buddy cop kind of thing. They have good chemistry at the end, but I think Johnny Cage is the fan favorite.
Yeah,
agreed.
And so they all end up on the foggy ship. We already talked about this. I have notes to talk about this. I love that it came up naturally because it's so ridiculous. I remember watching, I was like, this fog is just ridiculous. And so some point after this, we meet Raiden, Christopher Lambert. How do we feel about this performance? Because I feel like, talk about Adam Sandler, he could literally be like an Adam Sandler cameo.
I loved his performance.
I prefer two. I prefer the performance James Remar in two.
I don't know. I like Lambert.
I think it's ridiculous. I like
it's
the
so
laughing.
bad.
Like I'm like, what are you doing?
But he is sort of a comic relief as well. Like he'll do that laugh and be like, sorry.
Does he take it out of it though? Like I feel like he's supposed to be the guide, the kind of mystical.
But he laughs and like he makes fun of, like he is, and I think that he looks so like ridiculously serious that he has to throw in that he does have a sense of humor about some things, and I think that makes it a little bit more believable. I don't know. I mean, again, I'm biased.
He doesn't go full Gandalf. I feel like otherwise it would be more of a trope. Yeah. So that's how they keep him with a little bit of an edge.
Yeah,
the performance is. I think the performance is awful, but I still enjoy the movie for its value. So that's, I feel like everyone.
Sorry, I was gonna say I feel like every one of his lines was dubbed over. You can kind of hear
there is a lot of dubbing.
His seemed to come out a little bit more for me. Like every time he spoke, it kind of sounded like the lines were a little bit off from the audio. But yeah, it was just a little ridiculous for me.
And so
it is ridiculous.
It's awful. It's awful. But so, right around the same time, we get our first looks at Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I love their intro scene. It's so teasy. They're both like standing there, and you're immediately like, who are these guys? That's really what hooks you. Eric, you said that's what hooked you before. That's what hooked me as a kid. Yeah, me and my brother would be Sub-Zero and Scorpion. He would always be like, I think he was always Scorpion. I was always Sub-Zero. But I also liked Reptile. I like some of the weirder ones, like Earman, Noob Saibot. Yeah.
Rain.
Yeah. Smoke.
Cyrax. Those are the robots.
This is the same shit, though. They are part of the ninjas, right?
So there's crazy backstories on these guys, which actually is interesting because the backstories they chose. So Scorpion and Sub-Zero are like mortal enemies, and they mention that in the movie. But for some reason in this movie, like the first time we see them on film, they have been possessed by either Shang Tsung or Shao Kahn. I think it was Shang Tsung. And so they're like slaves.
That's right. He says they're under my power.
Which normally has never been the case for these guys. So it goes back to like centuries ago. Sub-Zero was part of like a group of assassins, and he killed all of Scorpion's family and then Scorpion. So Scorpion is like this undead ninja who is seeking revenge. Came back to life somehow. Somehow Scorpion or Sub-Zero is still alive after all these centuries or whatever, and they're just battling it out forever. But that's usually that's the generic backstory for the relationship between those two guys.
It's such a strange choice to essentially neuter them.
Yeah,
from their intros.
You know what? It would have made the storyline too like, wait, now who are these guys? And they don't like each other. It's a lot. It's already a lot of characters to begin with. To create true. This complex rivalry, like let's just make them like this. You know, I kind of get it. It's just an interesting choice.
Yeah, it's got to be that they just couldn't do everything at the same time.
I mean, they did a great job portraying it in the 2021 version. Like
I can't wait to talk about that. Yeah,
they could not have done a better job.
It almost well for the listeners, we're going to get to 2021 Mortal Kombat in a couple episodes from now, but I'll just say it's interesting in that one because it's almost like the antithesis of this. They immediately open on it, so they give you really the core of the lore.
Mhm.
so to speak. So didn't mean to rhyme there, but it's cool. It's cool the way they do it. So in this one, they arrive at the island. We get kind of the villain introduction. We see Goro. We see Kano sets off Sonya. I hate Kano. I think he's so annoying. The red eye. I didn't even like him in the game either. But we get all of this, and like I said before, we also get the soap opera aspect where Liu Kang is the descendant of the great Kong Lao. Katana is 10,000 years old. Shang Tsung has been running the tournament for centuries. So it's a very cool kind of background, and I think that's kind of what hooks a lot of people. And then they tease these things that, Liu Kang could be a genuine threat. Katana could betray them. Some things pay off, some things don't with the storyline, obviously.
What did they talk about Shao Kahn?
I think in this scene is when they allude to him.
As like the man behind the curtain?
Yeah. Yeah, they mention him, I think, more than once in the movie.
Yeah, they do. I mean, we see him at the end, but I was curious because Shang Tsung was like a Vader and like Shao Kahn was like the Emperor.
Yeah. I like how they tease him, and then they do pay off at the end. This is also the scene when Shang Tsung, I caught this time, he tells Kano not to harm Katana, only humiliate her because she's beautiful. Very strange.
And there was no other reason for that.
She's just beautiful. Do you guys have a favorite villain specifically in this movie?
I go again, the three ninjas. I just go back and forth. Probably Reptile, just because that one like you have like Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, throw that lizard into a statue, and then boom, Green Ninja
like Green
kicks
Ranger.
Liu Kang through a fucking brick wall.
Yeah.
And then there's even the narrator goes Reptile, like, oh, okay, another one.
There were a couple of, again, I don't know if they were from the movie or from the game, but there were a couple of like clips of audio that I heard in this movie that I was like, these have been used in EDM songs. Like I remember hearing these at like festivals and clubs all the time.
Yeah.
Like Reptile was a song. And,
Yeah.
There was another one.
By the way, the best techno beat in the entire movie, I think, is Reptile song.
Absolutely.
It's interesting you say that, Dixon, because I wonder if it's kind of a allude to the movie.
What do you mean?
That they did all these techno beats, so it's coming back in.
You say they say Reptile in the song.
Reptile. Yeah.
So I think they are alluding to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like paying tribute to it, like honoring it.
Definitely, yeah. And a lot of I was thinking probably like 10 years ago was when I was hearing a lot of these songs or remixes of these songs from Mortal Kombat. So those guys were, probably in their early teens when the movie came out. So they grew up with it a little bit. They watched it like when we were watching movies in high school. So they have those kind of relationships with this movie. So that's why there was a lot more of those types of remixes from the songs in this.
Yeah. So before we get further, let me break down the tournament rules here. The Elder Gods created Mortal Kombat to give Earthrealm a chance to defend itself. 1 tournament per generation, 10 consecutive losses, and the winning realm can invade the other realm. Single combat to the finish, and very important part of Mortal Kombat, a mortal can fight, so to speak, immortal, someone with supernatural powers. So obviously Outworld is kind of leading this tournament. How does Liu Kang, a man with no powers, become the chosen one? Why is that our story? What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, he does have powers at the end.
Does he?
I mean, yeah. Like fire shot out of his hand.
I guess. Yeah. Well, where does that, I guess.
But I think that was more of like a little like nod to the video game. Like, oh, we got to give him something cool. Like, let's like, that was
like a burst. Like
that wasn't explained.
But isn't he a descendant of someone?
Yeah.
Kong Lao, yeah.
Kong Lao? Yeah.
I think there's your explanation. It's in his bloodline.
It's a bloodline answer. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So now we get to the scene where the three leads are caught spying on Shang Tsung. They battle a group of guards. This fight's pretty cool. It's like a preview of some of the bigger fights to come. And then we get to the tournament outright. This is kind of those beach scenes, if you remember, like that section of the movie. And so Sub-Zero gives a little demonstration. Eric talked about this where he freezes the guard mid-leap. Love that. And he shatters. And then we get to the series of fights. Liu Kang fights, I think, just like a nameless warrior or something like that. It's quick and it's a fatality done. We get Sonya versus Kano. What do you guys think about the Kano death? Were you genuinely shocked? I know when I rewatched it, I forgot that he died. And then I was like, oh!
I'm surprised it happened. The fight happened when it did. I thought they were going to save that for like a little later in the movie. Because it was the second fight of the tournament. Yeah. Like that was like her big motivator was to get to him. So the fact that it happened as early in the tournament as it did, I thought that was going to be like the last, each one of them had like one level or one battle that they had to get through to get to the final fight. And that was going to be her like last hurdle that she had to overcome before they got to that point.
There's not really much else that happens in the movie after like that scene. And that's pretty early on. It's like, let's just kill the rest of the bad guys and then the movie's over. Like after that. So they kill Kano and then everyone else. The end.
I would say this is kind of the point where we're close to the point where things start to go a little more downhill. But then we get to the Johnny Cage. Well, Liu Kang and Sub-Zero have their fight, and Johnny Cage and Scorpion have their fight. So the Liu Kang Sub-Zero fight, I wish, obviously, there was more happening. I think the end is kind of a little, hit him with water.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
They
I wish
just threw
Sub-Zero
water
had a
at
little
him.
more. Yeah, I think Sub-Zero could have had a little more to do here. He just gets kind of that one freezing shot before that. The Johnny Cage versus Scorpion fight is kind of like is supposed to be one of the pinnacles of the movie. He drags Johnny into the nether realm and they fight. Johnny Cage somehow beats Scorpion. I still never understand some of this. And they
with his orange blood.
Yeah, they never explain how Johnny Cage gets back from nether realm. He's just back. But that's one of the famous scenes.
And Scorpion is Johnny Cage's number one fan.
Yes.
Yeah, where did that come from? That came from wait, was that actually supposed to be like from Scorpion?
I thought so. Growing up, I always thought that it was Scorpion is a fan of Johnny Cage.
He loves his movies.
I thought it was
Johnny Cage is having them.
Yeah, like he just had like photos that he would have like pre-signed that he would give out to fans.
Both work, but Scorpion was the one that like exploded.
I like that Scorpion.
And you saw like bones and all this shit fall on the ground, and then you saw that the autograph picture fall on the ground.
So ridiculous.
So dumb.
So then we get to Goro versus Art Lean. Big Art that we talked about before.
Big Art.
So Art Lean gets dismantled by Goro. Soul taken. Finish him. First flawless victory of the film. And kind of the turning point.
Who also Johnny Cage and Art knew each other.
This is just it essentially just serves as a way to get Johnny Cage to fight Goro, which then just gets Goro out of the picture very easily, which always has bothered me. I wanted so much more out of Goro, but again, you can only film for 2 minutes with him. So
we got more out of him in this movie than we did in 21, but
we'll get there. So, did you guys feel the emotional push?
I know Sonya did. Screamed.
So, Johnny Cage, Goro. Another thing that bothered me. We already talked about the $500 glasses asshole, which was ad-libbed. I like that, but the fight is. I like the cliff side part of the fight. I think that's like a cool set. But the indoor fight, he just kicks him in the balls. Like that's the whole thing.
Is that like his style though? Like is that Johnny Cage's fighting style? Like a little dirty?
Kind of.
Does he do that in the game?
I think he does. He does do split.
He does like a knee thing. He like shoots something out of his knee.
but I think he does a split jab too, something like that. But still, they essentially the whole movie's played seriously, and then this is kind of played for laughs. So I wish at least like, again, clearly it wasn't possible, but he picked him up or something. But they just couldn't do it.
And it also is like, yeah, that shot is like the first of that fight, but then it goes into the cliffside scene. So it's not like the whole fight is just he's taking out Goro by punching him in the balls. You know,
Right, that's true.
That would have been
That's
ridiculous.
True. That's true. Yeah, that's right. That's right. At least they do find a way to continue it.
But Goro falling off that cliff was probably the worst CGI of the whole movie. It was so bad.
There's a lot of bad CGI. There is a kind of note that I think all of the non-human characters, you see their deaths on screen, but any human character, you do not see their death fully on screen, and that's to keep it a PG-13 rating. So that's why you'll see like someone like Goro actually die or someone non-human, but that's how they kept it. Fatalities.
What about the first guy that Liu Kang fought? Shang Tsung sucked his soul out. You saw that whole thing on camera.
That's good for rating. That's clear. That's fine.
Okay.
I said that to myself too while I was watching it. I was expecting the deaths to be a lot more gory, and then I literally wrote down, I was like, besides Sub-Zero and Scorpion and all of the non-humans basically. So I guess that makes sense though. But in my head I was like, I thought Mortal Kombat was a lot more brutal than this.
Yeah, they had to tone it down, but we get that in 2021 at least. So with Goro gone, Shang Tsung kind of achieves his ultimate plan. He takes Sonya, which still kind of confuses me a little bit, but it's some sort of stipulation where he may choose to challenge any one warrior at the venue of his choosing. So the kidnapping actually sets up the rules. He invokes the stipulation, takes Sonya to Outworld, and because Sonya cannot defeat Shang Tsung in combat, someone else has to beat him in her place. So it's constructed in a certain way, and this sets up Raiden essentially pushing Liu Kang and Johnny to go to Outworld. It's like a pump up scene. I kind of like it actually. And they go to the tunnel, and this is where we go to our little buddy cop kind of phase of the movie a little bit. Johnny comic relief, Liu is a straight man. I think it works pretty well actually. And so they shot the Outworld scenes at an abandoned Kaiser steel mill in Fontana, California, and they built all the practical sets in this area. And they actually, we talking about the reptile Liu Kang fight, which is the next thing that comes up. This was actually added all after test screenings. Focus groups thought that there were too many early fights, essentially, and there was nothing to really lead the end before the Shang Tsung fight. So this was added. They filmed the whole thing at a hangar, and no one knew what Reptile was going to look like when they filmed it. So they kind of just worked around a pre-fight setup. And then eventually in the movie, as we were saying, Reptile has the broken statue, transformed into ninja form, throws Liu Kang through walls, and then Liu Kang does his famous bicycle kick from the video game. This is where I said Shu fractured his 2 ribs during the shoot. And I love Reptile as a concept. Like everything else, I wish they could have done a little more with it. But Eric, you already said you love this fight. Dixon, how do you feel about it?
I like this fight too. I was having a question when you were talking about that. So they put this scene in after test screenings, right?
Yes.
But they've shot the scenes with the CGI Reptile. Like there's a scene where he tells Reptile, is like, you got to watch out for Katana. And then Liu Kang finds Katana or finds Reptile when they're like lost in the temple. They're like walking around and like he grabs him when he's invisible. What was the initial intention for Reptile? Was there ever going to be a fight scene, or was it just he was just there to keep an eye on him?
I believe since he was already in the movie, he had some sort of established role, so Reptile probably made the most sense to go to.
I mean, those scenes though, Dixon, besides Shang Tsung telling him to keep an eye on those Katana or whatever, what else did they do? like he wasn't really in anything else. So they probably just CGI'd him next to Katana in that one scene and had Shang Tsung just say, keep an eye on them.
They totally could have.
And then that was how you fix that problem. Like have him kind of show up throughout the movie.
But didn't they film that? Were all of those scenes shot after they had
The whole
test
fight was
screenings?
shot after the whole fight was shot after test screenings. I guess they could have added that in a reshoot.
My point was, I don't think there's any interaction. Oh wait, no, there was a scene when Liu Kang grabs him and then he like
That's what I'm
sprays
talking about,
something in his
yeah.
face. Maybe they could have done that the same day they did the reptile fight.
That's what I'm saying. Did they film all of those scenes after they talked to the test screenings and they were like, "Oh, we need to get this fight scene.
Maybe-
How do we
maybe
set
to
it
get-
up earlier in the movie."
Maybe to get it set up a little bit, they had to add that in.
But
Which is
then
funny
again,
because. Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, then how else would they have introduced Katana? Like, would she just have shown up at the fight?
That's exactly my point. Is what I was gonna say too. Because the Katana stuff in general, we haven't really talked about her, but I saved it for this because this is essentially the part of the movie where she reveals her lineage, the Earth. She's on Earth's side, and all that, and she wants to help them and helps Liu Kang, step forward. But the Katana stuff is an absolute mess. She's in the movie for maybe like 10 minutes. She's supposed to be this 10,000-year-old person, the adopted daughter of Shao Kahn. I don't remember if they say this in this one or the next one, and she gets like 10 minutes of screen time, kind of all over the place. And her role was essentially cut up. There was a lot of her scene, a lot of her story was cut out. They were supposed to be a whole love arc, which they obviously allude to with Liu Kang, but that got cut because they felt like there wasn't enough action in the movie. So you feel her role missing throughout, and that's probably the crux of our conversation is that they just cut a lot of shit out.
That makes sense.
And it seems that way.
Yeah, it's evident. That's like the worst part in terms of like story-wise.
First hour is great, and then it does fall apart a little bit.
What is the turning point of the fall apart for you? You said Scorpion, right on the Scorpion fight?
It's all pretty convincing. Even the Kano stuff.
Convincing.
It's convincing. It's realistic. No, it's like I'm hanging on, but I think once, like, and then the Scorpion scene's cool. It's like, wait, but why is Johnny Cage there? And then it literally goes Scorpion, Katana fight, Sub-Zero fight, and then Goro. And then that's when it's like, to Dixon's point in the very beginning of this podcast, it was like, what the fuck is going on here? It's just fight.
There's no
Tournament.
transition between the two.
Tournament.
Yeah, I get it. I get it's a tournament, but there's only two tournament scenes. One of them's in the woods. One of them is in hell. One of them is in like the basement with.
Well, the lower level ones are on the beach.
But those are like the actual.
No, because there's no audience when Liu Kang's fighting Sub-Zero and
Yeah,
when
but
Johnny
he
Cage
says
is fighting
he's-
Scorpion. Do you
he
just
says-
like fight him when you see them walking down the hallway?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, there's those.
Hey, it's
scenes
a tournament.
Once you
There's
reach an upper echelon, it can happen anywhere. That's kind of the rule they established. Some are on the beach, and they look like literal exhibitions, wrestling matches almost, and then UFC, and then later they're just everywhere.
And then
Except
so
the final battle.
what is Goro's? He has a whole fucking audience.
Well, it's Goro. You want to go to the Goro match. It's like going to a festival. You want to be a Goro. You're not going to go to Liu Kang
That's a
on the
title
beach.
fight.
You don't want to see Sub-Zero? He seems to be the most interesting guy. There's nobody there. That was at like 1 a.m. in the basement.
Goro Art Lean is the headliner. That's the like, where is Art Lean the rest of the movie? Where is he on the boat?
Yeah, he was on the boat.
Yeah.
I completely forgot. See, all right. Well, so this takes us all to the final battle. Shang Tsung summons dead fighters. I kind of like this battle because it goes through multiple levels, kind of like a video game boss. You know, they do the first round where he kind of beats him, then he like gets the souls out, and Liu Kang has to like deal with all that, and then
Yeah, I think
Chan
this fight's
comes up-
okay.
Chan comes up before. No, Chan comes up after he defeats him. So yeah, so the soul resurrection, and then essentially it ends. He pushes him on the spikes. And what do you think about this fight? It's okay. You said
It explodes out of the gate with the Mortal Kombat theme song.
Yes.
It explodes for about 11 seconds.
it feels like
And
they put down like the Rocky theme. Like I'm like, oh
Yeah.
go.
But then like Shang Tsung gets hit. First of all, he gets his ass kicked the entire fight.
Yeah.
He gets his ass fucking beat. So then like Liu Kang gets him down for the first time. Music cuts off. Then the souls come up. Then he's got to fight all those guys. That's cool. Then he's up top in the balcony, points at him, says something stupid, and then he beats his ass again. Then he tries to like do the whole chant thing. I'm saying everything that you just said. Like,
but it's helpful because it's hard to break down. There was so many levels of the fight.
Yeah, and then that's like the art of deception or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
And then he beats his ass again.
I feel like the entire time that they're on like the upper level in that fight scene, they hit each other 2 or 3 times, and then somebody gets knocked down, and then they're like on the floor. Then they look at them, and then they get up, hit each other 2 or 3 times, and it happens like 3 or 4 times over and over again before the souls come out.
Yeah, but you need the Chan shit. You need to see Shang Tsung's power, how he has all these souls within him, and he's actually like this like 10,000-year-old mummy. I guess if it wasn't for all these souls that are keeping him alive. I don't think I would have rewritten it any other way because it really just show the full power. Like he's a sorcerer, you know? It's just, there's a lot of stop and go.
Yeah.
It does kind of go up and down a little bit, but I like that it doesn't, they need it to keep continue in some way. Otherwise the payoff just isn't there. So I like that. The Chan thing is fine. I'm kind of ready to move on at that point. I don't really need it, but at least they give some depth to a character in a film with not so much depth. But so now we reach the final scene, which I actually love. So there has like a very Naboo Return of the Jedi feel. They're all running back. Everyone's holding hands. Raiden catches up. He's all happy too. And then out of the sky, Shao Kahn appears.
The temple explodes.
That's right. Okay, that's right. Just out of nowhere, right? The temple just blows up.
The 6,000-year-old like Tibetan temple explodes. And then Shao Kahn is like projected into the sky.
And he looks nothing like he will in the next one too. Like not even remotely.
No.
Oh my God. That was the fastest ending. Like I felt like
dude, it was
so
like 1
good.
minute.
It's so good. I love
it's like
it.
they walk out and they're like, all right, let's go. And then boom, he explodes. And then it's just like Mortal Kombat. And that's it.
And they play it like a techno beat song. They play like something that is like, that was played in other places besides Mortal Kombat. And I forget the name of the song. I'm going to look it up.
And while you're looking up, they all line up like with the fists.
Yeah, so they're all like ready to fight.
Just like line up against the projection. And I feel like this ending is very Marvel-esque. I alluded to other franchises and series. To me, this is a post-credit tease. You have like a Thanos in the sky, the next threat, and then, spoiler alert, the next movie, which I love for continuity's sake, even though I said Annihilation is a huge piece of shit, it picks up right where this one ends up, or leaves off. It's almost an entirely different cast, but it picks up right away, and I always respect some good continuity. I feel like the payoff just makes it so much better. So how do you feel about this being the OG post-credit scene?
Having not watched the Annihilation yet, I can't really comment on it too much yet. I was trying to watch them like just have like that movie be the one
Wait, what do you mean post-credit?
But I'm saying like it's like the OG like style of like Nugget, you know.
There's like a cliffhanger, but
cliffhanger,
like a post-credit scene for the next movie without being post-credits.
Yeah,
but
even as a kid, I looked at it as like, oh, that was a fun ending. Like I didn't even think that they were going to do a second one, and that was just like a fun movie, almost breaking the fourth wall because of its absurdity. And if you watch Annihilation, it's nothing like that anyway.
It's Dixon, I'm excited for you to watch it because it's not. We didn't really spoil much because it picks up immediately.
Hardly a connection. It's the same moment, and you're like,
but everything's different. It's the same set, and the same moment and the same Liu Kang. Literally everyone else, I think, is recast.
It's all different,
and
it's the
they
same
don't even
moment.
They don't even look like each other. Some of them.
Oh my God,
it's sick. It's sick.
It's so bad. Annihilation probably, and obviously we're not going to get into it, but it probably has better music and better individual fights.
I kind of agree. Yeah, I kind of agree.
But the whole movie is just God.
It's so bad. Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about in terms of the plot? I was going to talk about fight rankings, but honestly, we kind of already talked about it, so I don't have much more before we get into like closing arguments here.
Well, I feel like I think I said Reptile's my favorite, but what's your favorite fights?
I think mine is Scorpion, Johnny Cage.
It is a really good one.
It's fun. A lot of different sets. It's ridiculous, but in a good way. And I kind of love that it's not explained at all.
I think Scorpion's black mask is really cool.
There's a lot to like about it, even though it's underwhelming in some ways. Dixon, what about you?
I was leaning between the Scorpion and Johnny Cage, or I like the Johnny Cage and Goro fight, even though it's a little comical, ridiculous, but I still think it's really cool. And when Goro like first comes in and he's just standing there with kind of like the red light behind him, I just thought that was an incredible shot. So I'm between those two. Probably leaning towards the Goro fight though.
Anything else you guys want to mention about the plot or the movie before we go to closings?
I don't think so.
I think I'm okay. Yeah.
Can we finish him?
Finish him. Yes.
Okay, so very simply, as we always ask, Dixon, do you like this movie?
Yes, I do like this movie. I enjoyed it. I've talked about my gripes with certain scenes and the transitions between other scenes. I think that was really the only thing that I had any sort of issue with, but it was fun. It's a Mortal Kombat movie. There's fighting, there's, battles, there's everything you could want out of a video game movie about just two characters fighting each other. So yeah, I enjoyed this. Like I said, I had only seen it maybe once when I was a kid, so it had been a very long time. And I knew that this was nostalgic for a lot of people. So to go back and to finally really sit down and watch it and understand it a little bit more has been a treat. So I'm excited to go into the rest of these movies, but this was very enjoyable.
Dixon, you do have a very open mind when it comes to these movies, so I'm happy that you were able to look past the movie for what it is on the surface and understand that it's a massive nostalgia movie. For an entire generation of boys, like I was going to say because the game
today. I like when you hesitated before you said it.
I think that that was a big, because the game was so big and everybody was playing the video game, so the movie, obviously a lot of people, whether or not they thought it was good or it had its issues, it was still huge with our generation and even a little bit older than us too. So yeah, I feel like I usually go into movies with a very open mindset of like, even if I've heard the movie's bad, I'm kind of like, let's give it a shot. Let's go into it and try and enjoy it as much as we can. And there are issues with every movie, but I still had a good time with this one.
Eric, I don't even need to ask you. I know you like it. I don't need to say anything about myself.
It's always fun to revisit, and it's still fun to kind of like learn or discover new things about the movie, even though it's not a deep it's not a deep movie. It's not a Kubrick movie.
It's Kubrick-esque.
It's Kubrick-esque. But you pick things up and it's fun, and we'll probably be watching it for the rest of our lives every once in a while, every couple of years.
I was really psyched to rewatch it. I might have rewatched it before 2021 Mortal Kombat, but it's always nice to do these binges because it's always an excuse to go back to it. And yeah, I'm noticing things now, like the fog on the boat, that I've seen this movie, like 100 times, and now I'm just realizing this now. So it is fun
it's
to
a
come
boat.
back to. Yeah, it's like I was like, oh, it's a fucking boat in the fog. So we talked about this a little bit, the 43% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that now it's kind of getting revisited and enjoyed. Do you guys think it deserves the 43%? Where would you rate it?
Probably around there.
I would say that's pretty generous, if I'm being honest. From like a technical standpoint, it's just like there's so many like the nostalgia play is such an important factor.
Yeah.
You can't seriously rank these movies. You know, like if we were to revisit Star Wars, like A New Hope, we'd be like, that was shit. You know, but it's like, how can you possibly say that? It's such an integral part of like our movie appreciation. You know,
Imagine revisiting Force Awakens.
we'll save that for another one.
There's a lot of things that I was going to say, but I'm like, you know what? Just we'll zip it and save it for later.
Save for another. We're going to get there, listeners. We're going to get there. And Dixon, you said 43 is about accurate?
Yeah, I think so. Again, I'm a little bit more optimistic when it comes to movies. I'll give them a little bit more. It's enjoyable. Like the fighting, I think, is really cool. And we were talking about the cinematography and some of the shots, like on the island, on the beach, are beautiful. So I think that there's definitely parts where you can pull out things where you could say like this was really well done, and then obviously some of the bad CGI where you're like, okay, that takes away from it. But yeah, I think 43 is a good score for this.
Yeah, I kind of agree. All right. Well, I think we've talked enough about this wonderful, wonderful masterpiece from 1995. And like I said earlier, we have an even bigger masterpiece coming next week when we talk about 1997's Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And that'll be followed by 2021's Mortal Kombat, and then we'll follow up with the new release of Mortal Kombat 2 shortly after. So lots of things coming on the Movie Marathon podcast. I want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in. Please subscribe for our new episodes and help us build this thing. So remember, the movie may be over, but the marathon always continues. Peace.
Peace.